Hello and welcome to the AI with Arun show. I want to start with a number that might surprise you 70 million. That is 7 crore people who the Indian government plans to screen for a silent, debilitating genetic killer known as sickle cell disease, all by the year 2047. It is an audacious, but why is this important? Because India is home to the second largest population of sickle cell patients globally, making this mission a global imperative. The goal of this video today is to show you how India plans to meet the target because the traditional medical system simply cannot handle this volume. The answer lies in the cutting edge field, AI. This is the vanguard of India's sickle cell elimination mission, leveraging advanced analytics and computer vision to save millions of lives. First, let's understand the scale of the crisis. While you often hear about sickle cell disease in Africa, India is a critical battleground. India contributes roughly 14.5% of the total global burden of SCD, sickle cell disease, newborns. We are talking about over 20 million carriers, people who carry the sickle cell trait, and over a million sufferers. Now, this is not a uniform problem. It's acutely severe in what we call the Central Indian sickle belt. Think of states like Gujarat, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, and Odisha. In some tribal pockets, the carrier prevalence is staggeringly high, sometimes reaching 35%. The government has launched the National Sickle Cell Anemia Elimination Mission, NSCAE. The task is massive, screening 70 million people. If we rely on old methods, we will never make it on time. The mission absolutely necessitates a radical technological shift. So, why can't we use traditional methods? Because we have an infrastructure gap and a human resource crisis. The gold standard for diagnosis is HPLC. Now, it works, but it requires sophisticated machines, expensive reagents, and most critically, specialized hematopathologists. In the remote tribal districts where the disease is most prevalent, places like Didori or Koraput, these specialists are virtually non existent. So, what do we do instead? The simple solubility test. This is where the mission hits a fundamental flaw. The solubility test is simple, but it cannot differentiate between a carrier trait and a sufferer, the disease. If a test tells a carrier they are positive without clarity, they might live in needless fear, or two carriers might marry without understanding the huge generic risk to their children. The failure to differentiate is a critical failure mode. AI must solve this. Deliver the accuracy of a pathologist and the differentiation of an HPLC machine, but with the portability of a smartphone. We need to bridge this accuracy accessibility paradox. Now, here is a layer of complexity that often gets ignored: the genetics. You cannot simply import Western medical solutions, including AI models, into India. The predominant strain of SCD in India is the Arab Indian haplotype. Now, this is distinct from the strains found in the US or Africa. So, why does this matter? Because the Indian type is associated with persistently high levels of fetal hemoglobin, HbF. Think of HbF like a shield. It partially prevents red blood cells from sickling drastically. Consequently, Indian patients might often have a milder phenotype. Now imagine an AI model trained on American data. That model is looking for aggressively sickled cells. If we show it an Indian sample, it might see fewer sickled cells and say this patient is healthy. This results in a high false negative rate. The AI would classify a sick patient as healthy because their blood does not look sick enough by Western standards. And this is why we require data sovereignty. Our AI must be trained specifically on local Indian datasets reflecting the Arab Indian haplotype. To tackle this multifaceted problem, we need a multifaceted tool. AI is not one thing, it's a suite of specialized technologies deployed across the care cascade. So we break AI's role into three domains. Domain A is computer vision. This is how AI sees the disease. It's used for screening, for diagnosis, and triage. And domain B is predictive analytics. This is how AI forecasts the future. It's used for managing the disease and predicting pain crisis. And domain C is public health intelligence. So this is the brain for the national mission, helping administrators allocate resources and track the disease. The winning strategy is a hybrid approach, combining both non-invasive screening for mass triage with AI-enhanced point-of-care devices for confirmation. So let's dive into computer vision, which is our domain. We use it at three levels, starting with the easiest. First, non-invasive screening, the triage layer. Imagine an ASHA worker arriving at a village without a needle. She uses a smartphone camera to take a picture of a patient's fingernail beds. Deep learning models analyze the color, the pallor to estimate hemoglobin levels. This allows for bloodless mass screening. For example, researchers developed an app that combined this image analysis with a short survey, and it showed 100% sensitivity in screening young children. This quickly filters the healthy population. Second, the automated microscopy, the diagnostic layer. This is replacing a pathologist's eye. A system uses convolutional neural networks or CNNs to look at a digital blood smear. The AI segments every red blood cell and classifies it. Is it a sickle cell? Is it healthy? It delivers expert level diagnosis in seconds, not hours. Third, rapid test interpretation. Point of care strip tests often have faint lines that are hard for a human to read subjectively. A CV algorithm, a computer vision algorithm on a phone, can quantify the pixel intensity of those bands, giving an objective, definitive, positive or negative result. It removes the human error. Now let's look at domain B, which is the predictive analytics. Once a patient is diagnosed, the battle is managing the unpredictable, life altering pain crisis known as vaso-occlusive crisis or VOCs. Now, this is where predictive analytics becomes a lifesaver. Machine learning algorithms ingest longitudinal data. They look at trends over time. This includes weather patterns, patient reported pain, and physiological data from variables like heart rate and oxygen saturation. Now, here is a key insight. Studies show that physiological markers often shift 24 to 48 hours before the patient feels acute pain. AI can detect these shuttle shifts, the early warning signs, and alert the patient to take preventive measures like increasing hydration or staying warm. This can potentially abort the crisis and avoid a costly, painful hospital admission. Furthermore, AI performs risk stratification. It analyzes electronic health records to identify patients at high risk for major complications such as a stroke. This allows doctors to start prophylactic interventions like hydroxyurea therapy much earlier. Now let's talk about domain C, which is the AI for public health intelligence. So beyond the patient, AI is the administrative brain for the entire national mission. First, geospatial mapping. As screenings happen in real time, AI aggregates the data to generate dynamic heat maps of disease prevalence. This allows administrators to zoom in and identify previously unknown micro hotspots at the village level. This is critical for resource targeting. Second, supply chain optimization. Based on patient density and seasonal disease patterns, predictive models forecast the necessary demand for essential supplies like hydroxyurea tablets, pneumococcal vaccines, and safe blood for transfusions. This prevents waste and stockouts. Though ultimately, AI helps democratize care. It de-skills complex diagnostics, makes them simple enough for a frontline health worker to use, while simultaneously upskilling system administrators with powerful real-time intelligence. Now let's look at two key innovations already being deployed, showing this technology is not science fiction. First, the Gazelle platform by Hemix Health. This is the gold standard for portable, high accuracy diagnosis. It uses a technology called microchip electrophoresis. A tiny drop of blood is placed in the device and an electric field separates the hemoglobin variants. The AI function is crucial. Its internal computer vision algorithms quantify the bands HbA, HbS, HbF to deliver a definitive diagnosis. It boasts greater than 99% sensitivity and 100% specificity, matching the accuracy of a centralized HPLC, and it runs on a battery and costs only about $1 to $2 per test. It's already being deployed in states like Odisha. Second, an indigenous innovation from the Raman Research Institute. RRI in Bangalore. This device relies on physics. It measures the stiffness of red blood cells. Sickle cells are much stiffer than healthy, deformable cells. Machine learning algorithms analyzes the flight time of cells passing from a micropore to classify the sample. This device is extremely affordable and rapid, making it perfect for mass screening at the subcenter levels. We also have powerful software innovations. The Bangalore-based startup SigTuple developed Sonnet to, to digitize pathology. A blood slide is imaged, and a cloud-based AI engine classifies cells, detecting anemia and even comorbid parasitic infections like malaria. This cuts the time for a pathology report from days down to just about 15 minutes. Next, Sanius Health. It focuses on predictive management. They maintain the world's largest living patient registry for SCD. Patients use a mobile app and low cost wearables to track symptoms and vital signs. Their proprietary AI achieved 92% sensitivity in predicting vaso-occlusive crisis. Imagine knowing a crisis is coming before it strikes. This allows patients to proactively manage their condition. And finally, a major barrier is trust. Doctors are hesitant to trust a black box algorithm. Researchers at Manipal Institute are using explainable AI, also called XAI. This does not just say sickle cell present, it highlights a specific region of the image, the exact sickle shaped cell that led to the AI's decision. This visual verification builds clinical trust and serves as a powerful teaching tool. To scale these technologies nationally, India must build its own integrated system, an indigenous AI stack. For the AI screening engine, the core strategy must be based on indigenous data. India must partner with institutions like AIMS and ICMR to digitize blood slides specifically from Indian patients with the Arab Indian haplotype to prevent algorithmic bias. When selecting the core algorithm, the VGG16 architecture is preferred. Why? Because for SCD, you need to see fine, subtle detail to differentiate a true sickle cell from other similarly shaped cells. VGG16 preserves those crucial fine-grained textural features better than other models. To speed up training, we use transfer learning. We take a VGG16 model already trained on millions of generic images where it learns basic shapes and fine-tune it on our small specific SCD dataset. For the predictive management engine, since crisis prediction is temporal or time based, it depends on sequences over time. So we use long short term memory or LSTM networks. They are a type of neural network that has memory. They can learn sequences like if humidity drops and sleep is low, then high risk of crisis in 24 hours. The best AI model is useless if it needs high speed 5G to work in a remote village. We must overcome the offline challenge. The goal is edge deployment, running the AI entirely on a standard mid range smartphone. To do this, we convert the trained model into a super lightweight format like a TensorFlow Lite. Then we use a process called quantization, which converts the model data from large 32-bit numbers to small 8-bit integers. This reduces the model size by 4 times with almost no loss in accuracy, allowing it to run offline. Crucially, the system must integrate with the National Health Mission. It must link with the Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission. The Ayushman Bharat Health Account ID could be used as the primary key for every patient record. And to solve the problem of mobile numbers changing in rural areas, the app integrates with the Aadhaar face authentication APIs. This ensures that the medical record is linked permanently to the individual, not just a SIM card. All screening results are then pushed via APIs to the National Sickle Cell Portal to track the 7 crore screening target. Now let's see this in action for the people involved. And the numbers that I'm calling out are all hypothetical names. The intent of using these names is to give you an idea of how it will all flow. So let's meet our characters. Meet Sunita, who is an ASHA worker, the smart assistant. She arrives at a village. Instead of juggling paper forms, she simply scans the villagers' Aadhaar QR codes. The app autofills their name and the Aadhaar ID. If the internet is out, the app works anyway. storing the results locally and automatically syncing them when she gets back to the health center. If she's unsure about about an ambiguous rapid test result, she uses the AI reader feature to objectively confirm the diagnosis. Now, meet Rani, the patient in a remote hamlet. She has low literacy and speaks Gondi. Her screening starts with a magic mirror, a simple photo of her fingernails. The result is immediate and delivered via voice notification in her local language, Gondi, explaining clearly the difference between the trait and the disease. Later, Rani gets the silent watchman. The AI monitors the local weather and her physiological data. One cold evening, her phone buzzes with a voice notification. Rani, the weather is turning cold. Please drink water now and keep warm. This proactive nudge, driven by the AI, is designed to prevent a crisis before it even starts. Isn't that amazing? All right, so we'll conclude now. The fight against sickle cell disease in India is a race against time. AI offers the only viable mechanism to compress the timeline and achieve that ambitious 2047 elimination target. We are moving screening from the lab to the smartphone, diagnosis from the microscope to the cloud, and patient care from reactive to predictive. However, we must address two key challenges. The algorithmic bias is the first one. We solve this using federated learning. Models are trained locally at Indian hospitals, and only the learned weights are shared centrally. The raw patient data never leaves the hospital, preserving privacy and preventing Western bias. The second one is social stigma. SCD diagnosis can destroy marriage prospects. We use a role-based access control. An ASHA worker only sees action items, refer to hospital, while the patient only sees health tips, safeguarding against data leaks that could lead to social ostracization. The roadmap is clear. We should aim to train our models on indigenous data, deploy offline apps to 10,000 health workers, and ultimately roll out predictive patient alerts to reduce hospitalizations by 30%. This is how India and the world will write the playbook for solving complex global health problems with advanced technology. With that, we come to the end of the show. Please support our work by joining us as a member. All you have to do is go to the bottom of the description and you'll see a link for becoming a member. And if you learned anything from this video, please like, share, and subscribe to the AI with Arun show. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll be back soon.